Okay, now we'll start looking at shares. Like I said, I hope everybody had a chance to read the disclaimer. So let's switch over. Okay, just switching over now. Now we'll start looking again as usual. We'll look at always the longest time frame, then we'll drop down to a weekly, and we'll go down to daily. Let's have a look at the monthly. Now, as we can still see inside the monthly, still inside that rising wedge. Again, still's got more upside, looking at that. To go to the top of that dotted line still looks like it might be closer around the 19,000 point mark than anything else. The monthly chart really doesn't give us anything else. We can see the red line on the top. You can see that's really broken above it and really been sitting there for a little while now. So it's got quite comfortable there, so hard to say how long it's going to be before it even considers breaking down at the moment, unless before the end of this month it closes back below that, which we start looking at the lower time frames suggests a bit more higher prices to come. And let's go to weekly. Again, looking at the weekly chart, and again looking at the dotted line here, which is part of like that rising wedge, you can see there is more upside, and what we've got is the main trend line as it has been broken. Again, if we move this solid line lower, because there is a higher high, and we take it there, we still got 3 touches. Now again, this is how it really does look like. What we can do is, if we put it back the way it was for the moment, where there's been a lot of touches, what that basically signals out is that there is, just trying to finesse it a little bit there, what it's saying is, yes, there's a brick wall there, and again you've got another brick wall here. So yes, it's still upside, but there's still a little while to go yet. So there's no anything to say that this is going to slow down anytime shortly. Go to a daily. Now, if we look at the daily, I'll just put auto size on. These are the targets that we had of this triangle here. We had a flag, and that gave us a higher target also. But what have we got here right at the end? I'll just clone that. And as we can see, we have another flag. So this is telling us even higher prices to come. On top of that, this is a consolidation point, which is from the previous high. Again, higher prices to come. To do a target, even at the last flag that we had here, we go down to the bottom of the pole, to the top of the flag, to its breakout point, and as you can see, still suggesting higher prices to come. So the Dow basically suggesting northwards we go. Okay, now the next one we'll look at is I.INX, which is the S&P 500. I'll just go .INX. They look pretty similar, don't they? Let's look at the monthly first. Again, looking at the monthly, we can see it's still in a rising wedge, even though it's rising wedge signifies really a reversal pattern more than anything else. And of course, the only time we can confirm this is a true rising wedge is when it actually breaks down on the downside. So as we can see from this, there really is nothing to suggest this is breaking down anytime soon. So this is still saying higher prices to go. Go to the weekly. Just switching over. As we can see with the weekly, we are still inside that rising wedge, still suggesting higher prices to come. And we can see by that looking at the last few candles, there's still more room to move on the upside. There's nothing here to suggest this is going back down as yet. So let's have a look at the daily now. Here's the daily. As we can see again on the daily, this is actually hit a target as of a couple of days ago. This is our target of 2 weeks ago that we did. And just have a look if there's any higher targets, put auto size on. That's the highest target that we had. Now, let's have a look, is there any other targets? What we can do is, this is a symmetrical triangle. We can take also the bottom here to the top. Oops, something went wrong there, 1 second. Let's do it again. Go from the bottom to the top to its breakout point just there. And we can see this is also suggesting the highest point out of that pattern we can still get is basically around 2169 up to 2179. We're currently sitting under 2120 or under 2120. Now, originally we looked at this last time. We can see that was a flag, and we can see it broke through, come and retested it, and then it continued its merry way, and that was the target out of that, I believe. Just double check that. So basically from the bottom, we'll do a conservative body to high to breakout point, and that was the target basically there. So what the S&P is telling us is higher prices to come. Okay. Now, next we'll go and have a look at the gold. Let's have a look at the monthly first. Just looking at the broadening formation, as we saw, it broke down below the broadening formation and then it's kicked up. Now, we don't know if this is, we said this is potential brick wall there, and sure enough, it has really stopped on this brick wall at the top here. It's coming back down. What we don't know is this is going to continue on the down target or the up target. This is what's holding it from going up, and what was holding it going down, it's got to go below this point here. So we really don't know which way it's heading at this moment, at least not on the monthly. Let's go now to the weekly. What we saw initially, basically, as you can see, this is a fallen wedge. Now, it's probably not the cleanest, but it's still pretty good as a falling wedge. It had broken through that, but it has gone back below it. Now, why did it fail there? If you note where we were on the monthly, there was a major brick wall there, and that's why it's failed there. So we really can't call this now a true fallen wedge yet, because it's gone back inside it. So what else can we extract out of this bit of information? Let's see if we can maybe finesse the lines to make them look a bit more tighter. Can they give us any more data? So if we go down to the bodies, just raise that up a bit. And that still gives us 1, 2, 3 touches. Look, that's borderline. Now, you don't know if that's going to be the retest and go back up. We don't know. What we did have is this channel initially, and we did a breakout, and that gave us the target out of that. Now, it did hit the target, so we really, right now, do not have really much more information on the weekly at this stage, other than what we've got there in front of us. So there's nothing more that the weekly can actually give us at this point. Going to the daily now. Again, this is basically the formations that we were looking at before that it broke above. The way this, the data actually transacted, we can see it gave us a broadening formation. Okay, now it went to the top of its resistance and literally came back down. We did a target out of this flag. We came inside the target. In fact, there was another flag here. We have a look. We can actually draw that, or flag to pennant, and again that probably won't give us very much. Back to the same target. Is there any other patterns here we can have a look at? I'll just remove this for now. Now, what's happening here? We don't know as yet, but we can only just make an assumption at this point. We don't know if this is going to transpire or not. I've got no idea yet. But if this turns out to be a flag, I can have a flagpole to a target further down. So again, gold at this point, we really don't know exactly what it's doing. What we can try maybe is see if we can get the lines a little better. Is there any resistance there? See, what we've done is we went from this low and we really cut this line out, went to the bodies just there and gave us that. And yes, it did give us the kickoff, but however, if we go down to the low, that's where we are at this point. So that is also valid. Now, because the price has come and tested below and then went back above, it's considered a support. So you've got your 1, 2, sort of 3 touches here at the moment. Again, giving you a broad information. If this reverses to the upside and creates a new pattern, then we can say, yep, that's the broad information, definitely, then we have more than enough touches. If this breaks below, what we have to consider is this a flag? And then we can do a down target. So either way, what we're really doing is needing a bit more information to make a better informed decision. The target we were looking at before, if it broke above, this is basically irrelevant anymore. So again, what we're looking at here is we really need a bit more data to make an informed decision where gold's going. So still in the crossroads. Next one we'll look at is oil. BRT. The only thing oil has done since we spoke last is taken a good bounce now. I would have been disappointed actually if it didn't take a bit of a bounce. I mean, rarely does something just keep on going down unless something's structurally wrong. In fact, the good thing about this is this was a decent gap. Let me just enlarge this actually so we can see it a bit better. This is the part I was referring to. Good thing about it, this was a huge gap here. It actually has closed it. We can see further gaps up here. Yes, it can go higher. The only thing I'm reluctant with this, as I've said previously, is that oil, as I'll just show you the daily data. I'll just go to daily. I won't enlarge the daily data, but as you can see, there's just dash, 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 like a dot, dot all the way here. This is what's happening. There's pretty much a lot of gaps everywhere. Now, what we're looking at is, even though this is live, the way or could be delayed 20 minutes, sorry, the way we're looking at it, the fact is that we don't have an open high-low close. All we're having is the price change on that spot all the time as a last sale. So I don't have any true, I don't have an open, I don't have a high, I don't have a low, all I've got is a last. We finish this off on the day as a last sale. That's the only unfortunate thing about it, and that's the way the data comes. And we can see that if you look at the last chart down here, you can see that on the monthly. This, based on the patterns that have transpired in the past, does still suggest lower prices to come, but what we are seeing at the moment is a bit of a bounce, but I do believe lower prices are coming based on the patterns that we've had. So we really cannot say any more than that on oil. I will go now to the XJO, the ASX 200 index, giving us an idea roughly where the top 200 stocks are going. And again, we'll go to a monthly first. Now, as we can see, the price currently on this monthly candle is above the top line. Now, the actual pattern was a rising wedge, which will signify a reversal if you break on the downside. However, this candle is on the top, basically, of the line. If this candle closes above there at the end of this month, which is what, tomorrow, pretty much kiss the rising wedge goodbye. We have to look at it something else. Now, what we can probably also look at on this is just let's have a look. If we clone this first of all, what will we get? See, we got touches like so. So what this type of channel signifies, you can see it here, broke above, stopped, pretty much bounced off the line, went above, broke below the line, and you can see what's been happening here, becoming resistance, resistance, and possibly resistance again. This line is sandwiched in between the previous troughs to the highs. So this is a sandwich, and it really is, again, is considered a reasonably a good brick wall. So we should have at least the run at least temporarily stop here and possibly go sideways, or maybe even reverse. We just don't know yet. It might even come all the way back down to here. That we can't tell yet. But what it does signify, the upside is now limited to this brick wall. That's what it basically signifies. Now, how accurate, to where this line is? This is the issue we have to consider. Look, we can go a bit higher to just touch the high there, and we're still successful. So is it this high? Is it slightly lower? So what we have to be looking at is just roughly around that spot. So we can't be too pedantic, especially off the monthly. The monthly can go through it and then obviously come back below it. We've seen that time and time again. Now, going to a weekly. Again, you can really do this also off the weekly. Now, we can see, if we, again, look at the tops again here. All right, if we can, the truth is, this is probably where the best fit is. However, it can go to probably around there also. Only because you can lower this even from this side, a bit lower there. Oops, I'll do a bit more. And I'll go there. Now, as you can see, doing that, I've still got 1, 2, 3 touches. It does alter the height a bit. So again, if this breaks up and goes higher, well, there's a reason for it, because this can be a little bit higher, and the truth is it can also be a bit lower. We can go down to the bodies, and we can raise this even more, like so, and we can go down a bit further to the bodies. And we can see now it actually has hit the line. So when we do things like that, we need to take a little bit of license to this. Now, we've got to say it's around that point. It could be, 20, 30, 40 points, 50 points different sometimes. But we can see there is a bit of a struggle. Yes, you might have one good, stronger push up and bring this back up a bit higher to there and lower this lower. You can see it can technically go a bit higher. All right, so, I mean, from that point, I'll just do a measurement to the top, is about 120 points there. So, although we can have a look at on the monthly, says there's a bit more to go. If it tops out, we can understand why, because this line can be lowered to where it is. So it's not perfect. If there was plenty of these tops a lot stronger, it'll give us a better representation. So again, when you're looking at the XJO, I think it's about there. It's probably where it belongs, so I can actually, it cuts the top and probably can go a little bit lower. I think it's roughly about there. And again, it can technically go a little bit higher than that. Let's have a look at the daily. I'll put auto size on, it is on. Now, what have we got? Well, on the daily, we've got targets all the way up to 6,008 to 6,036. If we have a close look more recently, we have another flag just there. Okay, so if we do a target from the pole here to the top to its breakout point, well, there you go. So maybe that 6,000 where it can go a little bit higher as compared to what we looked at on the weekly. And let's have a look if there is any more potential on it from a higher point. We'll go from there to here. I think I might have done this one actually. Oh, there you go, up the top there. So I'll just clean it up a little bit because there's already one there. Oh, is that a clone? Yeah, it's a clone. I need the eraser, not the clone. There you go. So basically, potentially this has got up to about 6,010 to 6,038, or 59.90 up to 6,038, which probably signifies that top that we're moving that line up and down basically. And if you look what we are, because we did that measurement, if we go from the bottom where it is now to the top here, there's your 130 points. I think 129 points before. So that's where that would represent. So anything around that point, I think it's going to start struggling, even probably even from now might start struggling to consolidate. And then we'll have to wait for direction after that. Okay, that's the XJO. Look, I'll knock over the couple of indices and let's have a look. We've talked about gold, so let's have a look at gold, the gold index. Just have a look here. Oh, we haven't done that before, the gold index. Okay, let's have a look at the monthly. As a pattern, what we have is basically a descending triangle. Now, this is saying up moves now, from here, the bottom, to the touch, to the breakout, first target. So this is saying to that level, we've got at least to that level to go. Next one, from here to there, to the breakout, and finally, on the monthly, that's suggesting up to 4,266. That's points. If we look at the weekly, pretty much we can do the same thing here. We really ain't going to be replicating here. I'll just do the final target from here to there to its price, just coming up. That's pretty much weekly. Oh, there is obviously the lower targets, and in fact if you look at the weekly now, is this potentially is looking like a pennant. Now, if this is a pennant and he breaks on the upside, and only if it breaks on the upside, you'll start looking at, actually I'll take it from here. There's your target off the pennant, around 36 to 30, it's 36.9 to 3,700 points basically. Now we'll go to the daily. This is what we were looking at the daily. You can have it that way, although we did take it ourselves from here. Where's the claim? When we're doing the from the weekly, probably worked out like that. So again, that's the smaller version. How many candles we got to have there? Let's have a look. From this point to that point, there's 16 candles. You can't do anything with that on a daily basis. So just enlarge this. Just have a look if there's anything else. Okay. There really isn't much. There really isn't much on the daily at all, except an accelerated trend. That's your accelerated trend, basically. I'll clone that, see if there's anything else there. It's a channel, so I'll just clean it up a little bit. That's pretty much it there. And that's all we really can get on the daily at the moment. The next one I'll do is healthcare. I was asked on that one. Well, we had that monthly pattern, which was the bull hook. It has now gone through the bull hook and beyond, but there's nothing else on the monthly that we can actually get a higher target. So let's have a look at the weekly. The weekly, we can see we had a flag here. We had hit the previous target. This is the target for the flag, and it's still saying more to go higher. So the weekly target still stands, and we're looking at around 19,405 to 19,683 is the next target. So we've got still a bit to go on that one. So healthcare, higher prices to come. Okay, that takes care of the two indices that was asked for. This is different. CAG, somebody asked for CAG. What's CAG? CAG. Sorry, I didn't notice. Somebody asked me a question before. Is this gold in Aussie dollars? No, when I did the gold, the XAU was basically US dollars. Doing the gold index is basically just an index on summing up the stocks that make up the index, the constituents of that index. So that was just gold for, as a gold index, but originally gold we were looking at is in US dollars. Okay, CAG. Or CAJ, sorry, CAJ. J, not CAG. Okay, well, what is Capital Health? Oh, there you go. I can understand why somebody asked that. Probably the same person that asked for the health index by the looks of it. Well, again, we can clone, we'll look at the most recent first. So target out of that. Okay, that's basically looks like looking for around $1.02, $1.03 in that area there off the monthly. Let's look at the weekly. Has got quite a sharp rise actually, so it's probably from here. Now, interestingly, what is it making here is the question. Too early to tell. This is weekly. The week finishes tomorrow. So if this finishes in this area tomorrow, then we might have a little target there. What we do have right here is a pennant. And we'll go to the body a little bit more conservatively. Well, there you go. So this is actually saying on the weekly as high as $1.27 to $1 or $1.28, $1.32. Interesting on the weekly. Let's have a look. Is there any other pattern here? Is there another pattern? From here and from here. So what we can do out of the triangle, we can say from there to its breakout. That's pretty much confirming the $1.20 or so target. So this looks pretty good. So whoever's got this, not personal advice again, but this is looking good to an upside. And if it goes from where it is, you're talking about more than a 20% return, around 25% return, I think. Okay, looking at the daily. Daily's not the best, is it? Oops. Let me just get rid of that. Now, that's got one, 2 touches, 3 touches, and here 1, 2 touches. If this breaks on the upside, you'll be going from here to there to where, roughly where it would break. Again, that shows $1.05 to $1.07. So daily has an up target as long as it breaks on the upside. So if you're looking for a new entry price to this, if you're not in this, but you're looking for a new entry price, then as that breaks out, it's the time to start looking to get in. I wouldn't be chasing it otherwise. If you're already in, obviously, I'd be holding it. And that's what we can do with that. Okay, that was CAG. I was asked to do Qantas. I think they just reported it. They actually finally made a profit. Okay, monthly. Yeah, maybe we should have been looking at a lot earlier, however. Now look at that. That is a double bottom, folks. Okay, major reversal pattern. Pretty much major reversal pattern. It also has what we call a descending triangle. Okay, now as a reversal pattern, you go from there to its breakout, and it's saying 355 to 398. If it does its full from its descending and it goes to that, and you get another pattern for a new entry, then you'll be looking at probably the same, a bit higher, 424 to 480. That's off the monthly. Okay, now what else we got here? Just go to the weekly. Again, that's really the reversal pattern. The weekly doesn't give us any more, basically. That's it. What you're looking for is there a flag here, but it's not the cleanest, so you really can't use it here. Looks pretty messy. Let's look at daily. Let's have a look here. We see this consolidation, like so. And at a consolidation, we've got a up move. So realistically, we can get a target. At least out of this consolidation on daily, we're saying around 313 to 318 or so. And that's pretty much Qantas. Qantas is done. What do we got here? Macquarie Bank, MQG. Haven't looked at that one for a long time. MQG. Oh, just have a look a sec. And have a look at the monthly. I find it very hard to believe where it is at the moment, to be honest. I remember when it was up here, and I remember targeting calling the down on this one. So it's just amazing to see it where it is. Oops, wrong one there again. Actually, it really doesn't give you very much, does it? Sort of like so. Target. Yeah, it's already there on that one. We'll get rid of that. Monthly really does not give us very much information at the moment. Let's have a look on the weekly. There really isn't much other than maybe we can extend the lines here to go to there and to go to there. No, just go to weekly, I think. There's nothing there. On the weekly, what we should be seeing here looking like, let's have a look. To me, this looks like a bull hook on the weekly. And the bull hook, if we go across, pretty much like so. So to get a target out of the bull hook from here to its actually highest point is there, to its breakout point is there. Ooh, $79 to $81. Anything else? Just see if there's anything else here. Consolidation again in that area there, and at a consolidation, and there's, well, that we already got that one. So the consolidation gave us the price where it is, but out of the bull hook we can see higher prices to come, up to $79 to $81 on Macquarie. I'll have a look at daily now. What we've got right at the end on this right now is basically like so. It hasn't broken anyway. If this breaks on the upside, we've got higher prices to go. Now, I'm only going to guesstimate because nothing's broken out here. Conservatively, it's from here. I would go to the highest bodies and I will just try to break anywhere in here, just conservatively. Again, this sort of confirms those prices around $78, $79 or $80 that we just did on the weekly. Aggressively, if this breaks on the upside, the aggressive target is from right here to its highest point to the estimated breakout, and again the $81. So conservative target, aggressive target, as long as it breaks above that spot and closes above. Okay, so that's Macquarie. Okay, next one. Telstra, TLS. Oh, what do we got here? Let's go. Okay, last time we did the monthly target, as we can see, it actually hit the target. Now, because it hit the target, you expect, especially a monthly target, even though when it does a weekly target, you expect some consolidation. And I guess that's what we're seeing at the moment, is consolidation. There really isn't any other major target out of the monthly. So we can only now go into the weekly target and have a look at from there. And what I'll do, because these targets obviously have been hit already, I need to clear those up so we can actually see what else we can look at. Let me have a look. There really isn't anything at the moment, not on the weekly. If there's anything, it looks like it's been hit. Example, probably this consolidation point there. Probably, it's actually not even that. Probably from here. got consolidation there, and from there, looks pretty messy actually either way you look at it. No, you really can't do much with it. You can use this as consolidation, but we don't really have much. I'll just have a look at that for a minute. Probably if you remove this one from the top now, and basically what we do have is an ascending triangle, but I think the target would have hit already. From there to its breakout, yeah, it's already hit. So we really don't have any other targets at this point. So we have to let it consolidate and have a look from there and then go again. Now, let's have a look here on the daily. Let's look. So we can see why it's gone ex-dividend here. We can extend the line. And if anything, what we can probably do is do this. Oh, you can't even draw a line at the moment. There's nothing, nothing you can do on that spot. I'll just remove the price target from there. No, there's really nothing you can do. Yes, you can do this part because this is your high, this is your low. You've got a lower high and you've got a lower low. So this is not over. It's doing something here. Is it going to consolidate there? Is it going to go lower and consolidate then and see what it transpires? Maybe it just saw something. If this works out, I don't know. No, it hasn't even worked out. I was hoping maybe it's a little channel it might create, but that's not the case either. So, no, that's all we can do with this. You really have to wait and see how it will consolidate, and keeping in mind this has just gone ex-dividends. So, actually talking about ex-dividends or corporate action, I had an email today, and I better answer this. In fact, I think somebody just requested it again. Anthony, can you put the CA button on, please? Thank you. All right, which I do have it on now. Now, basically, somebody inquired, how do they know when a dividend is due and to watch out for it and so forth? Well, look, dividends are paid within days of each other. In other words, let's say it's twice a year and it's November, or in fact, let's have a look at Telstra. Just get my crosshair out. And let's start way at the end here, the first D that we see, and I can see it's the 24th of February 2014. The next one, in fact, let's go to here, being February again, to the last one, and look, it's 25th of February, okay, for starters. Now, if you have the corporate action button on, or when you want to know there's a dividend coming, especially when you look at that, what you can do, you say, well, you know what, it's going to occur within the 24th or the 25th of February, or in fact, when is the next one? You look at the previous one in the middle, and we can see the 27th of August. So if you have a look, a company will report, and they will report, say, 5 days earlier, 4 days earlier, something like that, before things that get announced. So they put out a half-yearly or a yearly report and say, they will tell you this is what's happening, this is the dividend, and this is when it's going to be available, this is when it's going to go. So all the report tells you that. Okay, and then you know if it's going to be on the 24th or the 25th, or is it going to be the 27th of August, whatever the case might be. You will know that. You can get more details. As an example, if you went to symbol summary, okay, so this is the button up the top here, symbol summary, I'm pointing it out, and let's say I click on that, and there's Telstra TLS I'm looking at, and I click on that, on the button, and what we get on this chart, on this information, little buttons on top. If we look at dividends, where it says dividend, click on that, you can see every single dividend history going back how many years, okay? This is going back to 1998. You look at the last one, 7 cents, currently paying 15 cents. If you look at the next one, dilutions, and of course, these are the dilutions that it can have, reconstructions or installments or one-off payments, anything like that. Okay, and if you go to your reports, you can see when did Telstra report on this dividend. If we have a look at the date, now I'm only looking at the last 50 reports. You can actually go and choose and see all the history of Telstra if you really wanted to. And basically you can see here, where are we, half yearly, was it, the date is 12th of the 2nd, 16, 20. Here we are, letters, shoulders, entry, notice of beneficial. Just trying to find out where it is here, corporate. Result half yearly. Here we are here. This is, see, this news item came out on the 12th of February, and it's telling you in here, in this half yearly stuff, it's telling you what it's going to do. It even tells you if it's a dividend reinvestment on a previous one, financial results half yearly ending 31st December. This is going back exactly from the previous December, you know, to whatever data they had and collated, so they'll pretty much consolidate everything and give you pretty much whatever you require. So that's how you actually have a look at it. I hope that answers the questions. Okay, let me just close this and let's get back to what we were doing. So that's how you'll know when dividends are due or reconstruction, and you can actually look on a daily basis. If you, well, I'll just say one more thing here. Where are we here? This one here, dividend. This little button, corporate action, if you click that, basically these two symbols are the only ones that are reported today. So if you want to know on a daily basis what corporate action is, all you got to do is just click on that corporate action button here, and sometimes when it's reporting season, there's hundreds here. You can see every single company that's actually going X or whatever the case might be. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Okay, that was Telstra. And next we're doing Westpac. Again, having a look at the monthly chart first, we can see this is trying to crack above this rising wedge again. Now, technically, if you want to see the consolidated trend, you'd go from here. Touch, touch, there they all are just there. Okay, that's how it would look. We can see this is right on the top of the resistance. And look, again, if we grab this little line, we can say, where does it belong there? It can actually belong just there also, which is pretty much on it now. Okay, so you can have a look or play with it and determine what it is. Now, in addition to that, if you really wanted to, we can actually do this as a pattern. Let me get rid of the crosshair. Again, if this breaks above, we can actually do a target. If it breaks above again, there's your next target up. That's off the monthly. Now, again, this has not broken above, so you can't treat it as so. But imagine you can put these lines on the weekly, on the daily, and you can use a tighter time frame to try to get into this. Again, let's have a look at the weekly. If we extend that line, my extender, look, right on it. So it depends how you look at it. You can adjust the height to make it a bit tighter, just about there. Look, there it is there. It doesn't alter much, but again, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is the 6th. It is struggling, so it's got to break above it. On the weekly, we can see also from this point of view, we can see a descending triangle that broke above it. I think we discussed this a while ago. And again, targeting, I'll put this auto size on. Yes, it is. We're on the target. Okay. Now, the bigger target is just above it. So it's got to break there. Now, it's choice. What do you do? Let's look at the daily. If you're in, okay, I can say no problems, hold on to it. But if you're not in, you've really got to wait, and you need something like this. Again, this has not broken above. So if I was estimating it, there's my target, but it's got to break above. So then that becomes your entry point for a trade. Now, obviously from $38 to $39 is $1.70. Look, especially if it does in a matter of days or a week, it'll be a fantastic trade. Excuse me, I just need to cough. I'll turn the mic off. Okay, sorry about that. So Westpac, up target, if you're in, I'd hold it. If it breaks below this, I'd get the heck out of there. But if it breaks above it, it's an entry point for a trade. Next one is ANZ. Okay, let's look at monthly first. Again, we can see on the monthly, we're nowhere near resistance still. So if it continues up, certainly there's no brick walls other than maybe a previous top. We can say up here, well actually that's where we are now. And in fact, it's just probably a bit above it on the high. So that's where we are at the moment. And we'll go to the weekly now. Now, looking at this, we actually have hit the target. We also have a look, we can see this red line, which is, I suppose, an accelerated trend, and it is a bit of a sandwich also. Now, what that basically means is there's your touch at the bottom here, here's your second touch, here's your third touch, bounced off, broke below, and actually came back up and locked it in and back down. So it's a sandwich, it's sandwiched it in. Again, it's at the top of a resistance point, hit the target. So again, we need something more. Now, why did it stop there? Well, obviously there's a brick wall and doesn't need a reason, but it looks like it's a good brick wall to stop at. We'll have a look at the daily. When we were looking at this last time, if it break above, we would have said, watch out this red line here. That's where if it's going to fail, that's what you need to consider. Now, this, as I understand, has this gone ex-dividend? No, it hasn't, has it? No, it's not due for a while yet. So we had that at the time. It broke above, came back down, it failed. Now, it's still consolidating there. Just let's have a look what we can do with it. Let's remove this for starters. When we look at something like this, we can understand why it's occurred because of this, and it has hit a target. Okay, so what can we do now? Again, we're here, and we're here. Again, what I would be looking for this, if this breaks on the upside, I'll be looking as an up target. If it breaks down, it'll be a short term to retest this line here, if it breaks on the downside. So let's do two targets, one up, one down, and see which way we go. From here to there, I'm only estimating at the moment, probably there, and from here to there, again I'm only estimating roughly there. Again, that brings it back to this point here. We don't know which way it's going to break, so we'll wait and see. All the other targets above here actually we might have did a target off this one here. So one of them is obviously from this pattern, and the other one is from this pattern here. We'll have to find out later what it is, and I'll remove one of them. But in fact, I'll do it now quickly just to show you how it's done, because it was basically this pattern here. Where was it? There. That's the pattern we had. It's like that, and we had like that. That broke on the upside, and we did a target of, oh, actually we didn't do a target off that, did we? Or did we? You saw what? Yep. Oh yes, we did, roughly from that. So we'll just go delete that one. That was from those, and delete that. And that's what we've got left. They are from the other patterns. Okay, that's ANZ. Done Westpac 2, didn't we? Yep. And the next one, oh, another one, NAB. National Australia Bank. Again, monthly. We'll have a look at monthly. line it, channel, out of a channel we can still target, so there, target again to, if this is a channel up, so it's coming to close to that channel anyway, so it's suggesting higher prices to come. In fact, that's what we did there last time, telling us higher prices to come. And weekly does the same, so go to daily. And even the daily is telling us higher prices to come. In addition, what we have right at the end, 1, 2, there. If it breaks on the upside, which I would suspect it should, muck that one up, sorry again. Pretty much confirming that target that was out of one pattern, and this is out of the other pattern, so suggesting also higher prices to come. That was NAB. I've got CBA. Okay, oh, what do we got up there? Monthly, we've got a target above this now, so it's not on the monthly. We've got a target of around $99 to $101. It still stands. It closed that last month and closed above this line. It opened above this line and still holding above this line, so that is still valid on the monthly. However, let's have a look on the weekly. Don't know why that red line was there. Weekly, we've hit the targets. We have hit the targets on the weekly. I'll just remove that for the moment. If there's any other pattern there? No, I can't see any other pattern on the weekly. So weekly, we have hit the targets. On daily, now what we were trying to do on this one here, I'll just explain. If you get this one of the lines and go all the way to its high on the next one, and then just keep going forward, you can see it cuts across it. If you again start at the same starting point, but let's move this up and down. If we go to the bodies, let's say, instead of the high, so all I'm capturing is trying to capture this high and part of that body. I'll just bring it a bit lower, about there. Now you can see why you have to be a little bit flexible when you're drawing the lines. Now, if I only left this line here, you'd say, oh, shivers, it's all in a mess. But look, it can vary at times just by a smidgen, and look where it lines up. So you need to be aware when you're doing these lines. Be prepared to slightly modify them. Now, what this basically done is we originally had a flag for a potential higher price. It started to break through it, and of course it went ex-dividend, and sure enough, it came back down to this area here. Now, what can we do? It did hit a previous target, as we can see here. Now, what is it doing now is the question. Let me just delete a few things there so we can see a little bit better. The thing is, right now, what we don't know, is this going to be bearish? I don't know. That's the truth. If we extend this line, and if it is, it'll be very short term anyway, but the bottom line is this. If this is a bearish flag or pennant here, and we do a price target and it breaks on the downside, again, it comes down to the line. Now, maybe it doesn't go all the way down, it just stops on the line. I don't know. It hasn't broken yet, so if you've got Commonwealth Bank, you need to be a little bit cautious here. If you're planning to buy in, I'd personally wait just a little bit and see what transpires, because if it does break down, you could probably buy it a bit cheaper. But overall, when you look at the monthly, there is higher prices to come. This is short-term stuff. I'll just delete these now. You know, this might happen early next week and it's over and it's bounced back to where it is within 5-6 days later. But that's where that is right now. I'll see if I can clone it, see if there's any more data on this. And as we can see there, we're cutting on top. No, that's not really correct. So we can't really do that. Okay, but that's pretty much where we stand with Commonwealth Bank. So if this goes down, you might want to take a quick trade if you know how to short, or else just wait. If you're looking at the upside on the monthly, wait for consolidation and look for a new entry point. Okay, I think that takes care of all the banks actually. What we do have on here is we got Woolworths, WOW. Oh, even this one we haven't looked up for a while. Let's have a look. Geez, what does the monthly give us? Well, at the moment, we know there's a brick wall just there, and that's about all I can tell you on the monthly at the moment. Just going to weekly. I don't know why the other screen goes dark all of a sudden. Every now and again it does it, I don't understand why. Okay, weekly. Well, again, 1, 2, 3 touches. So it behaved and treated it with respect as resistance. And there really isn't much on that either. My goodness. We'll go to daily. Other than brick walls at the moment, just to stop there, it's really doing nothing. Clone. I've got the feeling it's just going to hit the target or thereabouts. Not even hit the target, went below the target. So what we've got to look at, remember on the weekly, this actually, was that from a higher point? I'll just have a look. No, that's the one. It's fine. From a weekly perspective, it's pretty much, that was the weekly month that we did on the downside. And again, we've got resistance there. If anything, I think what we need to do, let it consolidate. We don't know what it's going to do. That is it going to make a bullish flag? We have no idea as yet. So I think Woolworths, again, take a wait and see attitude and see what transpires a little bit further down the track. I don't think it's going to go too far from here at this point in time. Okay, that's Woolworths. One last stock I've got to do, then I'll get onto some currencies, and that's the ASX. Well, that one's moved along. Geez, it's ballistic. Monthly first. Consolidation. It's all in one area, the data there, which is not really the best. However, which is really there. I think maybe we'll get a better representation on the weekly than the monthly. We'll go to the weekly. So target. So still got a bit more to go. Sitting at around $43 or so, $43.60. Looking at $44.45, $44.90 on the weekly. Let's have a look at the daily. It's just vertical. Really hasn't given much. Actually, this might be a good idea to look at a 180 minute here. Just have a quick look. 180 minutes, folks. 180. That's a little bit better, actually. Hit the target. I think the only best one we've got so far is on the weekly, which is at the 44.45 to 44.91. So that really comes down to that, A6. I'll have a look at the Australian dollar now. Okay, monthly. We can see on the monthly we did hit that target last time, going down through here on consolidations. So support, it really is trying to support at that level at this point in time. Really can't get any more than that on the monthly, although if this strengthens here, you might find it will actually kick up closer to around the 80-cent mark. On the weekly, okay, that's where the consolidation is. Let me just remove some of the lines, maybe we can see a little bit better. We'll remove that target just to have a look at it a bit better. And the thing is, oh, this is interesting. I just wonder. We don't know if it's a flag yet, by the way, a bearish flag. So this is one to watch. This is a weekly, and we saw what happened at this weekly here. So definitely close watch at the moment. We'll look at the daily. This one's not valid. That's not valid. That's not valid. All we've done is to get this line, basically we've cloned this line and just put it back underneath. That's all we've done there. Let's have a look. What else we got here? Now, this is consolidation, but we have to take into account the previous high too. So the reason this is quite valid here, because that's the top there and it's support on this side. Okay, so you really want it to close, you know, maybe a week at least above this point here. If we extend the top line, okay, so what we might find, remember, if this tends to be a flag on the weekly that we looked at and it goes a bit more sideways, we might see one heck of a fall down the downside. So if you like shorting, just watch it just in case. If this does consolidate further and stays above here, then we're going to have a pretty strong consolidation phase that will go up higher. Okay, so really, the dollar really is at the crossroad right now. It's either going to break up, consolidate higher, and probably head out towards this area here, or it's going to take one hell of a dive. And I don't think whatever happens is too far away. I think it's within the next 10 days or so. So watch it very carefully looking at this, because all you have to consider is this really. If I take the measuring, and just go to, from here just to the end. And oops, I should go the other way. I couldn't see it then. What I size off. 7 bars, which is 7 days. Okay, so I said 10 days. I'm talking about trading days, obviously here. There's 7 days there, but allow an extra few because it can consolidate one way or the other. But primarily, I'd be watching this very carefully. It's either going to have one heck of a dive, or it's going to have one hell of a consolidation to an upside to around the 80, 81 cents. So it'll be one of the two. We might see 75 or below, or we might see 80, 81. Dropping it down lower to intraday. That's 180 minutes we did before. First, if we clone that, there's your consolidation in there. Again, what we were looking at before is really, it was really this. So you can see when we break it down to 180 minutes, that was now support. That was resistance before. Now it's support. If this breaks below, that's what I was saying, you'll end up seeing it higher. And just to target out of that, sorry, wrong one. There's your 80 cents that I was referring to. Okay, so watch it very carefully. That fails and it goes down, you'll probably be looking around the 75 cents and below. If it breaks on the upside, and looking at that, I have to say it's got a bit of support there now. Excuse me, bit of support, so watch it carefully. It's either going to go to there or it's going to break below to 75, one of the two. Breaking it down to even 60 minutes, I don't think we're going to get much more on this anyhow, just looking at that. There's your 60 minutes. It's pretty much just going to just replicate what we just said before, really. That's all it is. It'll just replicate. Clone. Okay, that's exactly what we were doing before. And we go from here, again, as we were doing before. So there's no point going any further than this on the Aussie dollar. You do the same thing down to 30 minutes, still give you the same thing. Okay, next one is the euro. I know a few boys out of Cairns be watching the Aussie dollar like a hawk now. Euro. Look, the monthly, looking at the euro, I won't even enlarge it. We can see this has got lower targets to come. But let's have a look at the weekly to see if there's any up targets first, or is it consolidating to a lower target. I'll remove some of the targets that we've already gone through, so they just clean it up. Now, what have we got here? Are we going to get a bit of a run up before a down, or are we going to just get a down? Right? How do we look at it? Is it going to go like that? Is it going to go in here and get a flag up? Watch it very carefully. This is a weekly chart, so you might have a bit of a pennant that gives you an up target, or is this going to be a huge pennant in here that's going to give you a lower target? We'll have to wait and see how it transpires on it. Okay, daily. My goodness, what are we looking at here? Oh, that's 60 minutes. I thought it was daily. Here I am looking at what? I just had that comment that I made, those Cairns boys will be watching it. I just got a comment back, too right. Good luck to you. Okay, let's have a look here. We can see this is consolidating. In fact, let's have a look at here. If we actually break this to 240 or something, we got a pattern here. We don't have to draw the line all the way like I did to there. We can just stop it there. And that's a pattern in its own right. If we go to 240 or 180 minutes. Basically, it'll be a bigger pattern there. We really can't do much on the daily here. We know there's a consolidation phase, so we can't do much. What we can do is, like I said, drop to intraday, and maybe we'll go to was it 240 minutes? Let's have a look at that first. That's what I was referring to before. Like so, and we like so. So we can see this is consolidating for something. Now, because it's consolidating, on a breakout, we will actually get a decent move for a trade here. And again, I'm going to do a target on both sides. So it's just a guesstimate. And either way, you know, we can break it down further, maybe down to 60 minutes and see what happens in this area here. But primarily on this target, these are good trades either way. It is a 240-minute chart, so it really, over the next day or so, or maybe even late tonight, probably not late tonight, probably sometime tomorrow, this would look a lot better. Let's have a look at a 60 minutes, just to go down lower. We're looking at before. We can break it further down. And we have a symmetrical triangle. That's at the top of the triangle. Now, if we break it lower, we might even get a pattern in here. But let's just have a look at this time frame first. Look, just from here, this, and I'm estimating, there's a target up here. If you do it to the downside and it breaks below, great trade either way. Just got to have the time to watch it and take advantage of it. This is what it comes down to. So that's the euro down to intraday, 60 minutes. You can go down to 30 minutes, and it'll be exactly the same anyway. No matter what we do, we'll have the same pattern. Here we are, look. Oops. Same pattern. Now remember, this could belong there, and it could also belong there. So just be careful when you're doing these. Okay. And that's that. Let's go back to daily, and I'll do the British pound. GBP. Oh, GBP equals. GBP equals. Okay, monthly. We can see a one enlarger. We can see this is coming back up to retest it. According to the pattern, we have lower prices to come. This is now doing a retest of the break of the line. If we enlarge the weekly to get a better perspective on it, let's have a look. We thought it might have been a flag. It didn't turn out to be a flag. You can see it's totally different. It bounced off its support area here. It did pretty much come into the target, and it's bouncing back up. So weekly, right at this point, cannot give us any more information. We need to wait and see what actually happens. I'll remove some of these targets because they're already hit and passed. So we need to wait to see what it's going to give us next on the weekly. On the daily, we can trade out of a channel. We can see there is other patterns forming. In fact, out of the channel, what we do is from the bottom, in fact, from the bottom here, where we touch the channel, to the top, to its breakout point. That's its target on the upside. It's showing it's still got a bit more to go on the upside. Now, is there anything else that gives us a higher price? Well, here, my line's not the cleanest, I'm sorry, but from the bottom to the top, to its breakout, it's still got more to go. We go down to intraday. Go to 60 minutes first. And we'll have a look here. That's one touch, two touch, potentially three touch, we don't know yet. Let's just clone first. What does this look like? No, we're not going to clone. It looks pretty crap. Doesn't work. From here, on the highs, what does it give us? This would have been a potential flag, but it's gone below it, so it's useless now. Drop down to 30 minutes. Don't think we'll give you much more either, actually. Clone. Maybe not. I might have to go up, actually, 180. So we'll look at 180. Really not giving me much at all. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. Not the best flag, I have to say. If you're targeting out of that, but you've got a brick wall at the moment. That's the only thing. To the bodies to break out. It's way above it. But we'll have to see if this turns out to be a bullish flag, and I use the word if it turns out to be a bullish flag, then we will have a target up. But there's a brick wall here. So I think the safest thing to do with this, what I can see, is really just wait. Let it give us a bit more data, a bit better direction, and then look at it again from there. I think that would be really the safest thing to do. Even on the 180, it looks pretty good. It looks like a rising wedge. This could definitely break on the downside. I think there's on this we've got lower prices to come on the monthly, if I remember correctly. Yep. So it's gone up to test it. On the 180, it looks like it's gone up on like a rising wedge to test it, and we should start seeing it on the downside. The daily, I remember, what did it look like again? Oh, that's the price target. It's up to there. But again, let me just look at the daily one more time. That's the highest target, and that's the flag just there. Yeah, I think I'd be watching that rising wedge first. It's starting to look a bit more messier at the moment, and this is not the healthiest looking thing. Again, this particular bar is daily, so this doesn't finish till what time in the morning anyway, so we'll have to, it would look totally different altogether. Anyhow, there's no more I can actually do on that one. I think someone asked for XBF. I'll do that as a final. XBF. XBF. I did do XBF. XB. Well, somebody, Louis, you asked for XBF, but I can't seem to locate XBF. Is there another symbol you might have got it wrong? Financial index, okay, XBF, financial index. Well, are we talking about XFJ or X? Just have a look, just to make sure. Well, I can only assume you're talking about XFJ. That's the financial index. Okay, let's have a look at the monthly first. See, even this, we can see it's broken above altogether. So this has gone past it. That doesn't really apply anymore. I mean, this is the second month that it's above it. Let's have a look. I'll just make it look cleaner. Let's have a look. This is certainly showing higher prices to come at the moment. Let's have a look on the weekly. Let's just have a look from there first. And breakout. So you really are looking at around 7,150, say, to 7,200 or so points next target up. It'll be interesting to see if this is going to consolidate. This is a weekly. It'll be nice to see if it stays around here for another week, because if it does, what you might find it will occur here is another pattern of some form, and clone that, or it could be like so with a tail underneath it, or if it goes further up, you might turn out to be a pennant. So when we look at this, you might have one heck of a run ahead of us when it comes to this. Look at that. So looking pretty good from that perspective. Let's go to a daily. This is what we were trying to draw there. Either that way or that way. So unfortunately this pole is pretty big the way that looks for it at the moment. Where when we looked at it here, it looks more proportionate here to what he does here for some reason. Don't know why. But that should be no more than 10%. I have to calculate that out. We look at to there. It's basically 161 points, and from, say, the bodies, if we take them to that, is 774 points. 774, and we said that's 160. 10% is 70. 20%, no, actually it can be done. 20. That makes about 20% of the overall move. Remember, for those that did the workshop, a flag or a pennant or any pattern for that matter is only as good as it looks. Okay, it's only as good as it looks. If this does break on the upside, there's your target that what we did here. You can see over 7,700, 7,700. Okay, as an estimate. So if this breaks on the upside, that's what you're looking at next. Now, one more little thing. I know I was asked, as I point out on a regular basis, I only give general investment advice. That's what my license is limited to. I cannot do personal advice. I've still had a number of emails asking for, can we give personal advice? And I cannot. Now, I have asked the people that I got my license under, and they are looking into it if I can actually, if anyone wants any personal advice on some things, is to talk directly to them. Now, so I will know hopefully by the time of the next webinar if that becomes available. I can't guarantee that it will, but for those that do want personal advice, there might be. I have asked, and that's all I can do. And if I can do something about it, I'll try to do my utmost. Well, I think that's where we're going to finish off tonight. We're pretty much down to, I think I just ran out of my 90 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll sign off. And the next webinar, I was just asked when is the next webinar. Look, I'll try to do them every 2 weeks, around the same time. And I am going to convert, I am recording, so I am going to convert it. And you can watch it anytime with a link that will follow. If you got the link already from previous emails, just use the link, it goes to the same location. I know I've also been asked, especially some folks want to know a bit more about the scanner. I am planning to do a few scanning techniques, and if you're happy with that, tell me what you want scanned roughly so I can actually produce them that way. And I'll do a few things of how to use the scanner more effectively. I haven't been able to do anything last week, or this week in fact, it's my 25th wedding anniversary at the moment, so I'm having to have a little party this weekend, and we're pretty much running around to put things together, so I apologise. I would have done the scan already, but because of that, I will have to just wait till next week, but I promise I will do them. But I really do want to know if, tell me what you want on the scanner. Somebody asked me, did I cover CPA? They just got it. Yes, I did CPA, so you can actually watch the recording. It'll take approximately an hour and a half to convert, and probably another hour to upload it. So late tonight or early tomorrow, you can watch all the recordings. Yeah. So thank you for that. I hope you all have a great weekend. I don't think anyone needs to drive anywhere. You're hopefully at your homes watching all this anyway. So talk to you in a couple of weeks' time. Have a good evening.